Bado, I want to watch it tonight.
Yeah, you should watch that shit, man. Like that shit is like every single day. I just find more and more proof. So every single day. And the fact that like I actually saw it, I didn't see the video. Like I saw the thing. Like I saw like soldiers in the middle of nowhere with fences. And at that time it did not click. Like I was like, yo, this is a very weird place to see, like, because they're not law enforcement. These guys are like, they're in service of the country.
Right.
So like, yeah. But then I came home, and then like I found the video in my recommended. And I was like, it's not often like I see, Deutsch or DW, like do a video on like, Kenya.
Yeah.
So I just like watched it out of curiosity, and I was shocked. It was like it was precisely what I was seeing. Like I can't even explain that shit. And the funny thing is, like at the time I wanted to take pictures of the soldiers, but just something told me just like like just because like I'm also in the middle of nowhere, like, and I'm not armed.
Right.
If I catch their attention, I'm cooked.
Nah, I get you.
But it's trippy, man. Like, and it's things that's been happening for generations, but like right now, like the fact that they're making money from people overseas, and then none of it makes it to the community, despite the fact that they're using the community, they're blocking everybody. Like literally, they're putting up fences and they're shooting people who cross the fences, and this is their land. Like they're locals, they're indigenous there.
Right. It's quite sad, because you come at them with all this military power, just some innocent people trying to get by. Like, come on, bro.
Yeah, and the people who actually are behind that shit are thinking that like we're paying people who are in the community. Like we are a net benefit to them. But no, everything just gets lost in translation, and then nothing gets to the villagers. At some point you have to say like, at least 2% or 3% made it to the
Right.
to the people who are local to that place. But no, nothing. They're actually even burning lodges. They're destroying property. But you gotta watch the videos, bro. Like it's trippy, and it's not the only place that's happening. And the funny thing is, like, that's not the only place that they've been trying to capitalize on, like, selling carbon credits. You know what carbon credits are?
You know.
So there's climate change, and climate change is caused by air pollution, like
Right.
the amount of CO2
Yeah.
in the air. So what they do is, like, internationally, every country has like a target they have to meet in terms of like how much CO2 they put in the air. So that's what the carbon credit is. So Kenya sells its carbon credits to developed countries so that they can pollute their atmosphere even more, because they can offset that over here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, Africa isn't that developed. There's still, again, it's a vast savanna, a lot of forested areas. So those trees, if they let those trees grow, they absorb the CO2. So it's like a carbon offset.
Right.
It's dystopian shit.
That's trippy as hell.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, why these things aren't made more known to the public. It's like, okay, I know they're kind of out there, but it's like it baffles me that there's no outrage that somebody would is trying to come here and pollute the air
Yeah,
because
it's
of
funny because
finances.
most of these communities are actually out on the streets. They're trying to raise their voices. They're trying to protest. They're trying to get more people on their side. But a lot of Kenyans just don't care. And at the same time, the media has been bought out. Like even if, like even on that very same video, you'll see like the government try to suppress the information because again, when it's us they can do nothing, but if it's like a guy with a drone and he's a foreigner, he kind of because they can do anything to us. And the funny thing is, like, they went to one of the sites, like the local was trying to show the journalists some of the places where they like destroyed houses and the lodge that they destroyed, and the government knew they were there, and he got a call like on the video, like, and that should tell you something. I want people to see that clip so that they can see that the government can trace you anywhere you are, bro. Like,
Can you believe that? Oh my goodness.
uh, I mean, he might as well drink some. It's literally being wasted.
I didn't know they do that. I didn't know they open up the top of tanks. Monkeys, I'm speaking of. Opening up the top of tanks and taking a drink if the water is high enough. But yeah, I thank you for not giving me too many spoilers. But I'm looking forward to that, man. I'm already angry, and I haven't even heard half of it. I'm sure.
Yeah, but
It's
the crazy thing is, for me, just thinking about how much money. Because, essentially, like from, if you think critically, it's like watching people being recolonized live. Like, that's how I would describe it. Like, it's colonization. Like, most people think colonization will come with like guns and shit like that. No, fuck that shit. And the other thing is, the people who are colonizing us don't even have to be here with us.
right.
I can tell you a similar story, but it's not. It has nothing to do with, like the pastoralists. It's more of like the Savo. That's the other thing. Like these national parks, they're so big, and not many people can keep up with actually what goes on, inside those vast areas. So most of us think, like they're just doing wildlife conservation. They're not doing wildlife conservation, bro. Like in the Savo, allegedly, I have to say that so that I know they don't track me. Allegedly,
Right.
they're mining precious gems and semi-precious gems.
Is it
So
the government or the KWS?
the government, basically, the government is granting permits. And the KWS, they're told, they be like, yo, you have to control the animals or shit like that so that they don't go to this place. Because the KWS are also the only people who have authorized access. So unless somebody from KWS decides to like blow the whole gig wide open, nothing's gonna happen. And no Kenyan knows. They're out there mining millions, destroying the environment. And none of it is going to benefit
I
any
always say
person who is from there.
just the fact that we have so many minerals should be enough for us to not take less as an answer. You know what I'm saying? We should at least have some standards because that's good enough to do business. I don't know what more people need.
You know what I've been thinking? It's like if you think about it, there's a lot of money coming to us, but it's not coming to us. We're just gonna suffer, and they're just gonna keep taking more from us. They're already taking food on our plates directly through tax. but that's an excuse. Like the excuse is that we don't have money to run the government. But you hear stories like this. You hear stories about, guys mining in the middle of Savo. You hear stories about selling carbon credits in, and they're making millions.
Right.
This is the cartel. I'm not even gonna say it's the government because I keep saying the people are the government. Because the only people who will uphold the constitution is us. The people who are talking about, they have vested interest in doing unconstitutional stuff like this.
Right. It's the cartel.
So unless we step up and show them that the constitution isn't something that, because they have guns. The pen is mightier than the sword. So what's our pen? For us it's the constitution, it's the written word, it's the agreement that's been written down that we as the people of Kenya follow this, and some of the shit that's happening behind the scenes, it's unconstitutional, and we have the sovereignty to do something about it because that's what the constitution says.
Right.
The problem is many of us are afraid to die, and the people who aren't afraid to die are out to make the most for themselves. So
it's kind of like a spectacle too. Like it's like, oh, the government wants to kill me because I'm saying the truth. Isn't that what, proves the point? If you know what I mean.
No, it does.
Like, what more do you need from that? That right there is when you should.
Like, let's think critically about this, okay? And personally, I've watched the news, and on Sunday, the cabinet secretary, Murkomen, he was on, national TV talking about war on online critics.
Yeah.
Because, that's illegal. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense because what's in the Constitution is freedom of speech. Like, that's a written law. What he's talking about is not a written law. You understand? That's just feelings.
Yeah.
What he's talking about,
figured.
they're talking about, we have to crack down on criticisms that are, dishonest. First and foremost, you have to prove that they're dishonest before you can actually do anything about it. And personally, I don't feel like there's any dishonesty in terms of putting out criticisms of the government because we're talking about public safety being at an all-time low. When we were in the Uhuru regime, we never had people getting grabbed out the streets, bro, for some online comments. People got grabbed off the streets, but we just assumed that was some organized crime behind the scenes.
And I mean, really, a whole government can't handle trolls. Really, man.
Yeah,
that is an embarrassment. You know how many times Trump gets attacked on social media? You think he's sending his boys out there to come and get you?
Not just Trump, bro. This is shit that you only see with autocratic governments. Governments where the constitution, doesn't exist for the people.
But then don't say it's a democracy. Don't give us a constitution that represents democracy then.
Yeah, but the reason why we say we are a democracy is because we recognize that, and this is what I'm saying, there's something that's, and this is the reason why they're getting bolder and bolder. Because they've realized, the people are crippled. We're too slow. We tried, but we can't organize ourselves. If we can organize ourselves, turn up, do that shit, they would fear us. Because they'd be like, yeah, we can kill a couple of them, but eventually we'll run out of bullets and there'll be nowhere for us to run. We'll have to go overseas. Again, I keep saying this, Bangladesh did this shit and they succeeded.
Are you saying
we don't have to talk about hypotheticals or none of this shit.
Right.
And I'm not saying for us to turn into Bangladesh. We're smarter. We can do it better. And we can replace the system with something that benefits everybody. Because again, I don't want to be out here saying, fuck all of them. Even the people who we out here, like, even they deserve some kind of justice, because
Yeah.
there's some people, and then there's the rest of us,
Yeah.
and we have to build a kind of class consciousness for ourselves, because to my belief, everybody is the same as me except for them, because where they are, they take the most and they hoard it for themselves.
Thank you.
So it's us versus them, quite literally, and they're the minority by far.
By quite fucking far.
So unless we come out and see that they're gonna do everything to divide us, and we actively fight against that division and come to like a conclusion that this is what we want as Kenyans, not just as Kenyans, but as East Africans, and even like as Africans. But at the pace at which we're going, I don't think we'll win. And like at this point, we'll just salvage what we can. I don't want to sound like a person who's like,
Pessimistic.
yeah, pessimistic, or like I'm trying to push depression out here. No, like I'm just talking real facts. Because like they're selling neighborhoods. They're literally dividing up the country.
Yeah, I mean, you came clean about it. You're honest about it. You've accepted the conditions, so it's all good. Like, depressing to me, Amayo depression itself is like the person not knowing that how real it is. They think it's like on a personal issue, and no, it's nothing personal, bro. It's really happening everywhere. Like, this is some apocalyptic shit. Get outside, bro. It was never normal for people to just be depressed. I don't think I'll never accept that, man.
No, in a sense, I'd say depression is a natural state of things, but it's kind of like a warning. It's supposed to push us in the right direction.
Yeah.
From an evolutionary perspective, when you get a little bit depressed, that's when you kind of like reset and look at yourself, because that triggers some kind of, change, growth.
Yeah. But I feel like the way we're handling it right now, bro.
People are addicts. I believe we live in an age where people are addicts to depression, but not necessarily even depression. It's victimhood. Like people are obsessed with being victims.
Right.
I hate it, man. Like,
No, facts. Facts.
like how can you be a victim all the time? Like, yes, I get being a victim. Victims exist, but like you're not just a victim. Like,
We're all victims, first of all.
yeah, everybody's a victim of something.
Yeah.
Like,
If that's how life worked, everything would cancel itself out. It's like, oh, victim, the simulation collapses.
yeah.
I don't know why some, like, yeah, it's not that simplistic, guys. It's just not. It's a very, hard issue, man.
Yeah, and at some point, I think you get stuck being a victim for so long, you forget how empowering it is to, not even be the aggressor, but just like not to be a victim, like just to wake up one day and realize, oh shit, everything is straight, everything's going right. You're not necessarily going right the way you want it. Just like, today I didn't get victimized by something, I didn't get victimized by my circumstances. People close to me didn't get victimized. We just took a breather. I would have thought that was the more powerful feeling, that would drive you to chase that, to chase, some kind of change in your life that determines that, I'm not a victim anymore. I don't have to be depressed. I don't have to always be crying, woe is me, and all that bullshit. Yeah, actually, I can't stand victims, and I'm not saying that I haven't gone through some shit. But point is, I went through some shit, and I was depressed, but like, again, what doesn't kill you should make you stronger. But for you to get stronger, you have to be conscious of the fact that I have to move on. That's actually where the strength comes from. So I don't know.
Nah, facts. Facts.
So it's up to you to decide whether or not, because many of us be out here like, we gotta fight for this shit. We gotta fight for this shit. Sometimes it's not even about fighting. It's just about waking up, about talking to each other. That's more than enough. And when I say talk to each other, I mean just like put each other on the truth.
Right.
You know, like some raw honesty for ourselves. And I'm talking about the youth. I'm not talking about everybody else. At this point, I've given up on everybody else. But I've realized there's enough of us to not just change shit, but to move shit forward. The way it should have been moving forward before it even turned into the 2000s.
Yeah.
You know, that's the other thing. The education system, while it has given us something, it hasn't really gone all the way. It hasn't really put people in a position where they're assertive enough and they're self-aware of what they can do. You know, like we're talking about human rights being taken away from us every single day. And it's not happening overnight. None of this shit will ever happen overnight. You know?
Took years and years of people getting comfortable with it, you know.
Exactly. Some of us not calling out some shit. Some of us keeping secrets that we really should not be keeping.
Yeah.
Some of us protecting people who should not be protected at all. And I'll forever keep saying that if we can reach a base level of transparency, I think the country will change. For real.
Yeah. I think that too. I don't know, it's not too complicated to me.
Yeah, that's the shit.
I feel like it's just a matter of having that courage, man, honestly.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna go out on a leg out here and say you don't even have to be a rebel. You know, there's an image of a rebel. You know, a person who's, and that's actually what the government is trying to crack down on. You know, they're trying to find the people who are like, you know, they look like rebels. You know, like they want to point to someone and say, yeah, these are the rebels. This is what's wrong with society. You know, people are getting radicalized out here as a distraction. And that stems from the fact that some of us don't even have the dignity to communicate. You know, like I'm not saying that, you know, again, you have to take every scenario how it should be. And some things are shocking enough to like just trigger you out of that state, and you're like, yo, fuck it, I gotta express myself in a raw manner. But like, if we really want to change it, we have to be smarter than that, you know.
Yeah.
You can't just go poking the bear all the time, you know, expecting different results. You know, we already know we've poked the bear, like we've poked the bear multiple times, and now it's lashing out. So you don't want to be the guy who pokes the bear just, you know, and then claim that you're a victim. No, you poked the bear. But you poke the bear, you get rammed, bro. Like,
There's things you need to consider, like how long the stick is, you know?
exactly. You even
What's behind you, who you with, you know, the environment and such.
so you gotta be one smart about how you talk to this, how you talk about this shit. Secondly, who you talk to about. You can't just be telling people, yo, viva la revolution. It's fucked up, man. Like, it's like you're asking for death, or like you don't even care if shit actually changes. You know, like, there's a reason why the statement, the revolution will not be televised, exists. Because if you stop putting shit on TV, it loses traction. You know, like, at some point you even have to turn the TV off. How many TVs can we turn off? Yeah, bro, like,
Turn this TV off.
in some way, I gotta get in your houses and turn off your TVs, bro. Not just your TVs. For us, the TV is the smartphone. So we gotta get in there, bro. Like we can't be having generations out here who are stuck on their phone, stuck in comment sections arguing, instead of like actually going outside and having an actual conversation with people.
Yeah.
You have to actually go to some of these neighborhoods. You have to actually go there, be there, so that you don't. It's not hearsay all the time. Like somebody has to tell you this happened.
Someone once even said there's too much anonymity. Is it anonymity or however you say that word?
Anonymity.
Anonymity or something on the internet. So whatever you try to get across, it's always gonna have like some, a pinch of salt, if you would say.
It's not even a bitch, bro. That's the whole ocean.
Exactly.
In my opinion, whatever's in the Matrix stays in the Matrix. Let's just leave it at that. Like,
so real life communication is important as shit.
yeah, that's
Think about it. Everything needs to be communicated in real life, like directly, for it to have any effect. Essentially, people don't just, the government doesn't come and now to you on Discord chats. So what do you guys think we should do this year? It's like, no, man. They gotta meet up. They have to actually attend those meetings and speak on it face to face. The internet is just like, bro, that's just like,
I'm gonna say something.
it's a meta thing,
The internet is not a real place. Let's just start with that. As much as some of you may be interacting with this through the internet, I want to take this second to just, make you aware of the fact that this shit is not real, bro. Like, the reason why I call it the Matrix is because, it's all ones and zeros. So, yes, this message did get to you through the medium. But the medium, bro, it's thin air, bro. Like, quite literally, it's thin air. So you have to get out of that shit, bro. You can't live a life and your reality is literal thin air. It's fucked up.
Yeah.
It's the shit that they were describing as hell in the past, That's the other thing. Some of you are stuck in there for so long, you get left behind by the world. You don't even know what's going on. And that's actually the general state of most of us. It's either you're ignorant because you don't even have any information in the first place, let alone being stuck in the internet. And on the other side, people are just overloaded with information. Like, if you're on TikTok, if you're on YouTube, be it shorts, be it like, that's the thing. That's why that phone was created, like, it was created to be addictive, first and foremost. It was created to keep you hooked for as long as possible for somebody's bottom line. There's something that you can't tell, like, kids don't know this out the gate, I'm seeing youngins getting handed phones, like guys in primary school, barely even seen high school.
Yeah.
And a guy owns a phone all to themselves all the time. They are always connected. And they don't know that. They don't know that this device is, isn't normal. Like what they're doing isn't normal.
They've just kind of been, born, and then boom, there's a meta world out there that even we, the guys who were here before, don't exactly know what to do with it. So it just creates this confusion even amongst them. That's why I think even like there's a big ass meme culture nowadays. Like the kids will say shit like skippity toilet. Like essentially it doesn't mean anything, but it represents the fact that we don't know what the fuck we're doing with technology at this point.
Yeah.
Like it's almost taking over, like its own life, basically.
But it's affecting us biologically.
Yeah.
It's like that one study that says like the human attention span has kind of gotten shorter and shorter.
Yeah.
And we're not blaming that entirely on
But
technology.
the first step is to accept it. Yeah.
But technology is one of the biggest catalysts of like now we can't focus. Now we can't organize. We are heavily dependent on the institutions that exist.
We need to have like some sort of intervention at this point. I feel like.
Yeah, for facts, but I feel like an intervention is coming soon. And I'm not a prophet or none of that, but every single day I get signs that hey, we're gonna be squabbling soon, bro. Like real shit. And it might not affect us directly, but it will affect us. Because think about it, like I'm not gonna say that I caught the virus back in 2020, but it did affect us. Like we can't ignore. That's the other thing. People even forgot about that shit. Like nobody even talks about the Rona anymore. Like shit came, shit passed, and I don't blame them. That was a very traumatic time for all of us. And I'm not saying like, some of us, were in the trenches, but like many of us were stuck at home. And that in itself, like being limited to a particular space for extended periods of time. Some families were never meant to break up, but just because now mom and dad are stuck at home and they have to deal with each other's bullshit and realize that they actually hate each other.
It kind of just happened.
Yeah, now we have cases of domestic violence. Now we have cases of kids, like developing paranormal social behaviors. Some people, again, you become a sociopath because life stopped all of a sudden, and now you're back in the streets, and you don't know that. You don't know something about you changed. You don't know something about either your brother or your friends just snapped. You're just assuming shit is normal. We don't want to address that. The other thing is,
it's just noisy.
that better not be a politician.
Right? You think he's watching us down here?
No, because just that flight alone means they've wasted some money.
Right?
But that's what's trippy to me. Like, imagine a politician with no qualifications. They've never done anything in their life that they can point to and say, I did that. They own helicopters. They own like 5 cars in the garage. Another 5 cars in some warehouse somewhere. All of them expensive cars. They don't fuel their cars where we fuel their cars. They get their fuel from government sanctioned pumps. So essentially it's like they're getting free fuel. Because the money they pay fuel with also, they didn't make that money. They don't generate any wealth. But they own helicopters. Picture that, like you're a human being. You don't generate significant wealth. But you're out here owning helicopters, filling up helicopters, taking flights.
Right?
Taking flights to Dubai all the time. Just
Makes
running
no
up the
sense.
tab for everybody.
Makes no damn sense.
Makes no damn sense. Like,
We have
and we want to talk about right now, but the thing that most of these politicians don't want you to know is that they've been doing this for a long time. We have to pull up the track record from just even 10 years ago and confront them with it. Because again, recency bias. Many people be like, yeah, but that wasn't us. Like we're not doing that. It doesn't matter, bro. What we're talking about is the system that enabled that. And the system hasn't changed for us to say with confidence that, that issue stopped. In fact, it's only gotten worse. The thing that they did is they perfected how they make it confidential. They bought out the media, and now after buying out the media, they're working on us now, the society. They want to put us under their boot properly. Because they've realized, oh shit, and we showed them last year, we're not under their boot.
Right.
Well, they have to now tighten that shit. They have to actually put us down first and put that boot on our neck properly. And that's actually one of the major reasons why I don't want to talk to older generations. Because to them, that's normal. That's something they've internalized as, yo. You know, they'll justify that shit, you know. And that's why we come back to being victims. You know, because they'll be victimized and then they'll say it's my fault. How, bro? They did that shit to you. They put you down. It's their boot on your neck. It's not like you're stepping on your own neck. You can't blame yourself.
Facts.
Yo, how do you let someone take shit from you and then they come back and beat you over the head with it? It's fucked up. No?
I wonder that myself.
Also, think about what the media is broadcasting. Like, the media is out here giving, you know, and it's not just cabinet secretaries, but they're out here showing us live footage of cops being told, you gotta crack down on them. We can't let them talk about us. So shit is fucked up. And we can't say nothing about it. I mean, think about it. Right now, they've introduced taxes for any online activity. You know, like if you do transactions, if you make money through online business or any revenue you generate through the internet, they're taking taxes now. But how do you take money from us that we're generating and then go and censor us? Like, that makes no sense. You gotta pick one side, you know. Either decide we're gonna let them do whatever they want with the internet, but for a fee. Or you decide, yo, fuck it, it's free, but we're gonna censor that shit. You can't say some shit on there because it's free and we're leaving you with all that revenue.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna keep that revenue, you can't be saying some type of shit. But you can't do both, bro. You can't do both. You can't be taking revenue money away from us. And then on the other side, you out here oppressing us. Just for being on there and just like venting. We don't even have to be right, bro. It doesn't matter if we're right or wrong. You know? If you're gonna take money from us for generating that kind of content and generating any kind of audience on there, then we gotta be able to do whatever the fuck we want with it. Let alone the fact that they introducing any kind of revenue taxes on that shit already destroys that whole fucking... Maybe that's the point. They want to destroy it completely.
It's kind of like a blind rage, you know? No point to it. It's just anger. A display of power.
There's a power tripping out here.
But yeah. Honestly, we don't really care, bro. Just don't hinder with our shit, you know? If it's emotional, go take your emotions elsewhere, bro. We got a country to run over here. I'm sorry that humans had to get so smart that we could have free will, but you know, that's none of your business now. It's none of your concern. You should just be focused on playing your part. You know? That's the most you can not only do for us, but yourself as well.
And the other thing I want to say personally is we all know for a fact that East Africa is not a democracy. especially in Kenya. Kenya isn't necessarily a democracy. We only have the features, like of a democracy. But the reason why we call ourselves a democracy and it's in our constitution is because we don't follow the conventional power to the people kind of thing. That's the other thing. Most politicians want you to believe that you should only wait 5 years to exercise your democratic rights. Fuck that shit, bro.
Nah, bro.
You and I both know that's cap, bro. Like,
We have all day.
the real power comes with us organizing, coming together, actually showing them. Because they won't believe if it's just a bunch of papers in a ballot box.
Yeah.
Bro, that's the most useless shit you can use against them, bro. That's like some nerd shit. It's like I'm getting bullied in school, and the way I'm gonna fight them is by writing shit. To them. Like, how am I gonna write a letter to my bully like, yo, I need you to stop doing this? Bro, they're not even gonna read that shit. They can't even read in the first place.
Exactly.
What is the real democracy? Well, what is the real power of the people? Because that's what democracy is, definition. Power of the people.
We just can't take things lightly. People think like we just say these things to move on with our day and like, oh, it's just a nation. We say certain things to appear normal. It's like, no. Your life is at stake here, bro. This is everybody's, investment. We're not just going outside and pretending to be somebody.
This is
to look normal, it's like, no, people actually do shit out here.
yeah, this is a significant portion of your life. Like, most of us have only lived like a third of our life less.
Yeah.
So you're talking about your whole life ahead of you, and you don't want to do something about it? Like, it's for yourself.
It's funny, bro.
But hey, if you're not convinced, maybe there is something actively convincing you. It's like I think about it all the time. Like, I'm talking to people for free, but the people I'm talking against, they don't talk to people for free. Like, if they want to talk to people, the prerequisite for them to take you serious is for you to go out on the streets and start giving out handouts.
Yeah.
Like, prerequisite. Nobody's gonna come to whatever function, whatever baraza, whatever get together you have going on, if the prerequisite isn't that you're gonna get on the streets allegedly. Again, I have to say allegedly,
But
so they don't come for me.
At some point, like, you're on the street, yeah, sure, you're giving out charity, giving out handouts. But at some point,
Bro, that's not charity, bro. That's corruption.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
The problem is gonna appear that it's not just like handing these guys food is all they need. This is a deep-rooted issue. These guys need fucking word-of-mouth handouts. You know what I'm saying? Like some real awakening, some experience, a handout of an experience.
Yeah, we just need something stronger than whatever handout they're getting from the other side. But thinking about it,
handout of glory, bro. That's if I'm posting this, that's what it's called. The handout of glory.
yeah, like, but that dynamic is not what I'm trying to, make everybody conscious of. And again, these are unspoken truths, but speaking them out in the first place is what gives us power. It puts power back in our hands. And a lot of people are already disenfranchised to the point where they'll take whatever they get right now because they're not even sure if they have a future. But that by design is a very flawed way of thinking. Because
Yeah.
what you're doing right now actually ensures with 100% certainty
Yeah.
that you don't have that future that you think you don't have.
Yeah.
You know,
Like
so
this is the bottom of the barrel, man. If that's what your mentality has to escape to, that's that should let you know right there. It's like, pause for a second. Ask yourself, what am I doing? How come survival has become like some mental challenge? What the fuck? I should be able to just understand how to survive from the environment. See, you have to dig deep into the mental faculties, try to, make peace with the future or something. It's like the future just exists. What you do now is pretty much already a reflection of the future. And if this is having no effect at all as to progress, then there is no future. As simple as that. It's just an empty now. The void of now.
and I mean, it would be much better to put you out of your misery right now. Because an empty now means no tomorrow.
Yeah.
And if you get to a tomorrow where you don't have shit, then it's just a perpetual empty now. Anyway.
Exactly. It's so deep because I just want to say one point. I was watching this video of some guys studying like ancient Egypt and shit, and they discovered some of their mystics used to be involved in a lot of breath work and shit, And then at a point in the video, he's like testing out one of these Egyptian breathwork methods, and I go, yeah. It says to you like, imagine. Okay, first of all, like, just focus on your breath and recognize that's all you are, yeah? And then picture this golden light coming to you. It's the only thing that can go through you. You know what I'm saying? You see how that kind of thing can kind of put your mind in the center of things?
Yeah.
Like you get to be centered within your own body. It's funny that that knowledge existed that long ago, but even today, it's the kind of these are the kinds of things we still struggle with, It's funny. By now, again, we should be focusing on what's out there externally. To material now, imekuwa tu just another also form of kind of philosophical tool, you could say. It shouldn't be at just we're back at it again in our minds trying to piece ourselves out of the puzzle with this. These methods are already there. It's for you now to use them to affect reality.
I'm gonna just say something personal to me. The reason why I stopped being a religious person is because I realized where I am, religion and materialism are interlinked. They're woven together. Most people, when they participate in whatever religion, mostly Christianity, like people pray for shit. People pray for their materialistic fantasies. People worship God not because they love God or they love the earth or anything. They're just like trying to manifest their materialistic fantasies. Think about it. Like it's the prime evil of this society. That's why we have the people who we think are leaders. They do. They're just out there vindicating themselves. Like, this is what it's about. This is what everybody wants.
It's a very warped vision.
Yeah, everybody wants to engage in the uncontrolled, unhinged materialism.
But the answers are here.
Question yourself.
You have the key, Like material, even your material.
Yeah.
Why don't you want to acquire yourself?
Actually,
doesn't that make sense to acquire yourself first than anything else that's external?
I would
from
say
you?
materialism starts and ends where you are. Because once you die, there's no material that's gonna go with you except for your body.
And really, the only material that really matters to humans is the material we give value to.
Exactly.
So regardless, it still involves you. it's just it emphasizes what you just said. The material starts and ends with you. You know what I'm saying? Because we're gonna be the ones making the cars at the end of the day. We're gonna be the ones making the planes. You know?
Building the houses.
So you're just desiring a plane blindly and then using the name of God to try and assist you in that manifestation. It's messed up. God isn't here to see you to see you acquire an airplane, bro. He's like, make that shit, bro. Make the best airplane you can, you know? That's all he cares about. Because he already gave you all the technologies here. He already gave you a mind that can think.
I mean,
Come
you're
on.
directly in the vicinity of the material itself. How can God manifest a plane for you? And he already made all the material. It's already all around you. You know, it's the same thing that we're trying to push a lot of people into, you know, actually getting active and involved. Is because all that shit, like all the materialism, that's up to us.
Yeah.
You know, like
You gotta catch up with God. See how he catches up with you. Sees how you're doing, gets you a jet. It's like, come on, man. God's not gonna buy you a private jet.
man, God isn't even gonna buy you breakfast or lunch.
Yeah. You're looking
Trust.
at him like a sugar daddy, bro. Really? What the hell are we doing over here?
No, trust me, like some people, that's why I say this idea of calling God the Father, it's a very wrong. You know, it might not even be intentional, but it kind of writes your subconscious some type of way, you know? 'Cause most people are used to their fathers coddling them, you know? They buy you everything.
Right.
You know, they're the provider of the family. So
Right.
starting to call God Father.
It's
Personally,
like-
I don't call God the Father. For me, it's the Creator.
Yeah, thank you. That's a more wise way of saying
Because for him, once he created everything, his job was done. Imagine you make the whole fucking universe. And some, allegedly, you know, like we don't know. It could be a multiverse. All that shit. And then somebody still comes and asks you for more. If that was you, what would you do? Like imagine, I did everything.
Right.
I built you a house, I give you everything. Like I literally gave you the whole universe. And then you come to me on some it's not enough type shit.
You better pray I don't do the worst, that's for sure. I'm gonna train noise.
Bro, why did I even waste my fucking time making the universe then?
Right? Like, yeah, hello. I already gave it to you. What's up with you, man? And the funny thing is, it's like he never stopped creating in the first place. So whatever, like, what are you even trying to do right now?
Yeah, I mean, the fact that we are here today
Yeah,
is a testament that he never stops creating.
never
Like,
stopped creating.
That's
ever.
the only being or the only known entity in the
So he's
universe
still
that
giving you
doesn't
more, and
sleep.
you're over there asking him for shit that already exists. Instead of you just going out there and acquiring it, you're gonna bother somebody who's giving you everything else and more. Isn't that quite devilish, if you ask me?
You even gotta question yourself. Who convinced you into that? Who convinced you that your material fantasies will come from God? And I know some people out here talking about we gotta pray to God
Right.
for success.
Right?
Fuck that shit, bro.
Pray to God for knowledge.
You gotta hold yourself accountable and be responsible for your own success.
Pray to God for enlightenment. Like shit that he's actually aware of. Things that you can communicate with him about. You know. That space within your psyche to accept things that just are.
Yeah, actually, the only thing I pray to God for is love, and not on
Yeah.
some like, because most people conflate love. For me, love is just life. You know, every single day you wake up and you're
Yeah.
at the peak of your form and you're healthy. That in itself shows that God loves you, because like he's eternally creating. So the
Just
fact
love.
that he created the conditions for you to thrive,
Right.
Yo, that isn't easy. It takes a fuck ton of effort to do just that.
right? I don't know what's up with people nowadays.
No, but for me, I hope that explains why religion is such bullshit, you know? Like, and I'm not an atheist, again.
Right.
When I worship God because I'm grateful. And to some point, I've also become conscious of language and how we use language. Because we say God, but where does even the word God come from? Think about that. Like, it's the English language, yes. You know, it's not our native language, but that's precisely why you should actually be, thinking about it, because it's an intricate thing. Once I name you something, that has power. Naming in itself is one of the most powerful spiritual techniques, not even just techniques, but practices. Naming.
Right.
Think about it. Like in the ancient times, in the ancient African times, they used to have entire rituals just to name. Picture that, all that effort.
Did they?
Effort, bro. Naming rituals. When a kid is born, they used to have naming rituals.
That's crazy. I didn't even.
Bro, the whole village gets involved in naming one kid. Of course, it wasn't one kid, it was every kid in the village.
That's amazing.
An entire bloodline just for you to get one name, not even two or three. But we nonchalantly call the Creator God. What does that mean? What ritual is that? Like, what spiritual practice are we invoking by doing that? Because not everything that is God is divine. Not everything that is divine should be called God or
Right.
of God or godliness. You know? I think about it. We still call Zeus God. I mean, it's lowercase g God, but that doesn't fucking matter. That's a writing technicality. That's not like a real thing. It's kind of like how I'm talking about the Matrix. That's a technicality of a writing system. But naming isn't just a writing practice.
Right.
That's just one dimension of it. Names are spoken, names are invoked. You know?
But I think I'm gonna cut it there, man.
So think about that.
That was an amazing discussion. As the sunset hits, I gotta go. Peace out.
We
man.
got a jet.
I got a jet. Let's pray to God we get this jet.
I don't pray to God for jets, bro. I just turn into one.
I pray for him to turn me into a jet. Hey, Caveman co-host Joe over here, just letting everybody know that we are now on Spotify and all the other major podcast platforms out there. So if you would like, you can go check us out over there. I will be putting the links in the description. And yeah, we would really appreciate it. Thank you.